You should remember that was already a discussion.
Howdy.
Hi, Ken, how are you?
Okay.
Good.
It was time to go at DTJ on Sunday. My daughter does gymnastics there, my granddaughter. And he's building a new house there.
Who is?
I didn't catch the guy's name. But he's,
I can't remember either.
he was saying that his lot doesn't even have any leach bed, it's strictly holding tank, and they just pump them.
Some of them went that way down there, yeah. I remember those lots are only like 1.5 by.
Well, what he's doing is he's building like an 800 square foot house down there to stay during the summer.
Just with them for that trash day.
Everything, when the economy went south, he bought a couple of condos down in Myrtle Beach. How much you paid for the pair of condos? $40,000 for the pair. So he's renting one, they're gonna stay in the other one, and sell their house. They had a 3,000 square foot house in Aurora. He said, "We're gonna do with all their stuff," but
Who bought a condo? One of your kids?
no.
Oh.
Somebody I was talking to at DTJ, I was down there Sunday they had their gymnastics show.
Oh, for the exhibition?
Yeah.
Did your kids, did the
my-
grandkids go there?
Yeah, two of my grandkids go there, yeah. So, he was just sitting out there and I was just talking with him and he said he's building a place down, he's got a little place, he's putting an addition on it. And pretty much building it from the ground up, just taking the framework of the original one. He says it could be 800 square foot total, he's done. Just condo in Myrtle Beach, you can stay here, some can stay here, and
I don't know, like to keep talking about the villages and all that. I mean, we went there and it was cool, but
I just
I
did
don't
a,
like Florida.
start.
I just don't like Florida.
it's too high.
How we got, how we
And
started
buggy
and
and
how we got
humid.
to
We'd
where
rather move to one place,
Yeah,
made
kind of
more
in the
sense
middle,
to
where
have
the climate's a little more.
and it started thinking about like, I like it here.
in the beginning
This
to
way.
that,
I don't think
and
it's
how we
so
got
bad.
where we were, where we started.
And
Again,
I like the seasons changing. The thing that sucks is that you're going to work every single day.
It was not.
Once you retire,
Yeah.
isn't life good no matter where you are?
yeah, well, it's people like you that don't really
Yeah, he
work.
was there, I mean, he,
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
think they,
They
that's
say, what do they
true.
say, you do something you love, then you
Yeah.
never work a day in your life.
Yeah, that's true.
but Al went around the township and did some preliminary.
You know, those
Yeah,
gymnastics
that's right.
exhibitions,
Because we-
they used to bring in
We
thousands
asked
of
for a copy of
people.
those.
They used to, you call them sluts.
Yeah.
And they used to be, they would Czechoslovakia, and they would have like so many gyms throughout Czechoslovakia, and they all would get mailed the music and the written directions of the gym number. And they all would learn it on their own, and then travel together to a centralized location and do this slut.
So what you're telling me
Were
is
you
that all
allowed to
the,
go to the hearing?
No,
Oh.
nobody was there.
not as many Czechoslovakian gymnasts
Not
around here as you
anymore.
think?
Well, and so the older I got, I thought, this is stupid, doing movements to counts, you know? And then this last couple weeks, I went to my grandson's American Ninja gym. And they had their gym classes there, and they were actually doing calisthenic numbers. Only instead of counts, they were doing it to music beats, you know? But it was the same concept.
Mr. Everly knows we're starting at 16,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Should I give him a call?
That'd be a good idea, because
Yeah, I talked to him this afternoon. Oh, man, if he doesn't know.
this keeps up and they'll run for mayor.
That would be fun. Hey, you're not kidding. You might be in there.
So Mike, it's just you tonight?
Guess so. There's no email put out about it. Who does that? I saw it on the township website.
That's it. What I really want is, just kind of a recap of what we talked about last week, or the previous week.
I know Allison has a name. They said there was no email.
Are you going to attend Friday's meeting with Donardo?
No, PJ's coming.
Okay.
He's not answering. I talked to him today, but I don't remember his name, the big thing about that it starts at 6:30. But he said on an agenda and everything. Somehow I feel this is all gonna be my fault.
Well, you're doing it on somebody.
I think he's on a season trip. Copy and then texted him.
Oh, PJ.
He'll be on the tractor. That's funny.
You got four-wheel drive in your,
Jack, that's Nancy. Do you know the meeting starts at 6:30? No, would you be able to come up soon? I'm sorry, I know it will be my fault.
I would say it was a pretty good success.
He's on his way. Like I said, give him time to brush his teeth.
huh?
Give him time to brush his teeth. He did not know. I'm sorry, I apologize, everyone.
finally see some real premium round players today, finally.
You did? Hey, you know what, I'm not to one-up you, but one of my, my daughter's girlfriend, plus she was on my cheering squad, I was her cheerleader and coach. She is the Cleveland Cavaliers' personal massage.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Masseuse.
Masseuse, yeah. I was just talking to her mom and dad, and she's like, he goes, I look at my clock and I say, oh, Katie's got her hands all over LeBron James right now. She's been to his home. She's on the plane and flies with them. They have their own little compartment on the plane where the guys get up and they go back there and they get a massage on the plane.
Those are perks.
Wow.
And yeah, you know, we've been there all these few days and we've seen a lot of people, but this is the first time we actually could prove that these were.
Did you take pictures like tourists?
No.
No selfies as they were walking past you?
And then Mr. Haslam's personal assistant says, "You're parked in my parking spot." I says, "Well, I'm sorry, but nobody told me this was your personal parking
There's no
spot."
sign or statue there.
I said, "We will move," so we put the trucks on the sidewalk. That's the only place we could put them. You know.
How much longer are you there? That's good.
We will probably temporarily be gone after Wednesday, but then we'll have to go back like 2 or 3 weeks when this massive rebar thing shows up and has to be put in the ground.
Mhm.
Since somebody dropped the ball on the pockets. Can't do anything until they get the pockets. It's not on me, I have nothing to do with it. Yeah, these Ballard posts, there's 5 of them across the front of this thing. The end 2 got lights in them. And there's 2 solid ones, and the middle ones were movable. Well, they all go in a special pocket. And somebody forgot to order the pockets.
You said that
Yeah.
on Friday. You said, I wonder if they know that those are having lights in them.
Oh, I knew, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
the job foreman knows, but I don't think the architect, engineer who stole the job, I guess it's his responsibility, it was his responsibility to coordinate the pockets. Because back when he gave me the drawing on the rebar cage, you know, I said, his name's Dave, I said, "Dave, I can't build this." I said, "This has got to be done by a company that does this for a living." He says, "That's, well, you
Can't go
mentioned-"
back in my garage and bend rebar.
Yeah, it's 26 feet long, and it's basically 30 by 30, 30 inches by 30 inches, 26 feet long, and all these hoops for rebar are spaced 8 inches apart, and then these pockets slide down inside them. Well, I said, if the pockets are more than 8 inches, somebody's gonna have to refabricate the rebar cage, because you guys said make the rebar cage spacing 8 inches, and that's what the guy did. The place in Ravenna makes it. It's $2,000 just to make
That's not a lot.
No.
I don't think that's a lot.
it. $2,000 for that and $2,000 for the footer.
Oh.
To put it in, $4,000, yeah. Yeah, be nice. It's,
We only get Mr. Geyer from the zoning commission, didn't we?
That's it.
Did we wear them out?
Most of this is part of
This?
Part of Fred's report.
Okay, Fred's not here.
Right, so does he have anything else that?
No, this is only the brief submitted. It's all right there.
Your signatures. Yeah. Everything planted and the field came down.
I got
Yeah.
beautiful days.
It's nasty,
Yeah,
It's sharp.
that was plenty.
Regular basis.
And this,
Before that, nineties.
see that thing I asked if he's interested, I don't think we've actually, that one's in our lifetime, but,
No, we don't do this.
yeah, let's not.
Mr. Irvin?
Yes, sir.
I got you a glass of water.
I'm on Central Time.
Okay. All right. We will start out with a continuation of ZC 2015-01 noise regulation. Mr. Geyer, bring us up to speed.
Something like last time.
Yeah, just pretty much what you went through last time, where we left off.
Okay, we started on this actually a couple of years ago. And the noise level at the time is 45 decibels at the lot line. And we got asked by the trustees to come up with something else. And at that time, Mike Henry was with us, and he was working in Macedonia on another project. And Macedonia was adopting the noise ordinance. And he managed to get a copy from the legal firm that was doing it, that was setting that up, and we adopted a lot of what they had. And what we adopted was 65 decibels peak noise at the lot line. Subsequently, some people, what do I want to say, they investigated it with their cell phone, those levels, and we found that it was rather easy to reach 65 on peak, and if there's any bangs or noises like that, you were over. So it kind of got kicked back to us again, and we looked at the whole thing, and we realized that we probably didn't want peak sound, we wanted average sound. And so we did our own research and found that although 65 decibels was the number that everybody was adopting, it was much more reasonable to use an average over so many hours. And then it kind of became how many hours, and then we did an 8-hour period. And then some people thought, well, maybe, people will manipulate the 8 hours. So then we looked at 8 hours over 24, the highest 8 over 24. And then sort of the question became, how do you measure that? Because it'd be awfully complicated to be out there and, for 24 and trying to put all that together in this. And then again, Al Teen is an industrial hygienist, and he's got access to sound measuring equipment or companies that make it. And he did a lot of research on those kinds of machines that do that. You find that there are some quite sophisticated ones out there for a reasonable amount of money. And pretty much you sit it there for 24 hours or however long you want. It can go like a week. And then you simply download, pull a chip out of it or a disk or whatever it's got. He would have to address that, stick it in your computer, and the software package pretty much does everything that you need to do. And you can find your highest 8 wherever you want. And they were reasonable. I think he said around $1,000, and you got the software and the machine and the ability to tune it yourself. Then it's kind of like, okay, now we have this, how realistic is it? And so Al went out, he went to different places in the township, and he recorded. And although it was not for even an hour period, he got samples, and he got samples, down on Munn Road, close to the gravel pit. He did do some up by Eclipse, and he looked around, And he
You
thought,
did, advanced plumbing,
advanced plumbing,
trucking out back.
yeah. And even though there were a few peaks that were a little over the 65, everything averaged out well below that.
The highest levels that he recorded were
Right out front.
parked out here.
Right out here, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, the road
Road
traffic.
noise.
He put it in his own yard for a while, and pretty much the background level of sound here is 45 decibels. So we've got to be up from that. So we were pretty encouraged by those numbers.
And when he presented at the last meeting, the reasonableness of the numbers came into play. Actually, the reasonableness of the price of the equipment, the ease of operation. Yeah, they did a really nice job and he did this all on his own time. And, because as a matter of fact, he went out and bought the piece of equipment.
He did, and he bought it.
I said, well, if we implement this, I offered that we consider, and he said, no, he needed it for his own business, so he bought it for him, it's not for sale. So, we just wanted to
Is there
recut.
any kind of, what records is there some kind of a disc or something?
I would imagine it would be a chip.
A chip.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
chip.
in your
Jump
camera.
drive maybe or something, jump drive maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that, I would assume.
So it's transferable.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's all digital recorded,
Mhm.
and then you just transfer it. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if if you use an external drive on it, or you simply take the box then and put a USB on it and run
Yeah.
it into the software.
But the idea is you can transfer that data from
Yeah.
place to place.
Yeah, and that's the key objective with it, is to be able to put it out there for a period of time. The only risk involved on that is, if we were to do that, you're gonna put it out there.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be kinda
I know what
nice
the
if,
risk is.
it'd be nice if it was there when we're done taking
Same
the
as
reads.
putting a bin down there at Adam Hall overnight.
Yeah.
Our big citizens.
So, yeah, I'm sure we could, come up with some kind of lockbox or something for it. Worst case.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah. Or-
Yeah, we've got some takers in this township. Well,
Okay.
I personally, this is the most well thought out amendment I've ever seen or heard of it since I've been in this business on noise.
Well,
And they really put a lot of effort into this. And I think it's something that you do have to understand, but once maybe somebody has to explain it to you, but boy, it sure takes a lot of this guesswork. You're talking about not a single noise. A single noise isn't gonna skew this thing. And, I think what they have down there is pretty solid. I'd be willing to run with that myself.
yeah, well, I felt pretty good about it after the last meeting. But because of the time frame between meetings and 20 days, and
Yeah,
I
I was down
wanted to
there in
have you,
Troy, yeah.
I wanted you to have a chance to
Right, I
at
was at the
least
Troy meetings.
discuss, yeah, we had the Troy meetings that week you attended.
Frank, do you have any
Well,
feelings one way or another? I mean, I
First
think
of all, I would like to say, to commend them for the work, and I like the averaging idea, because like I said, if I were to enforce what's in the book now, as soon as Mrs. Jones, for instance, started blowing her leaves or cutting her grass, I could cite her for a violation, or anybody in this room, a leaf blower, a lawnmower, any of that is over 65 decibels. A couple times when I measured, when I was doing it, following up on the complaints, the noise was coming from JFD mowing grass in the cemetery, and, and things like that. So I commend them for that. I like the averaging part of it. I don't know if it's gonna be defensible in court, but that's something we can find out, you know, because that's the question, how you gonna defend it, because if I'm not there 24/7, when it's monitoring, how can I say that this noise, if it's sitting on a property line between 3 different properties, which one of those 3 properties is in violation, you know, but, you know, I like it from that standpoint that it's an average
Well,
over
you
a
have
period of
to, I
time.
think you have to have at least 8 hours.
Right, oh, yes,
Yeah, 8 and 24.
Yeah, and I agree that you have to be able to quantify them.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, if we were to adopt it and subsequently went to, somebody was in violation and went to court, I just don't know, you know, but it's something we'll have to find out, you know.
Well, and again, if you look at what we have currently,
Right.
it's the same issue.
Same.
Right, because what we have currently is, I've been told, is unenforceable, so
Yeah,
don't
because it doesn't really.
Frank, that's noisy,
There
quick,
you
chase
go,
him down.
hit that guy.
Can we get Frank lights for his truck?
Right.
But,
So-
no, you know, and like I say, again, they've done a tremendous amount of work and,
Well, one of the sites was down here, and somebody was running a metal saw, and he was up at the road, and they weren't over. I mean, they were actually cutting metal on metal, which is pretty loud.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, you could always, at a later date, tweak
yes.
that.
Right, but until we get into like a specific issue where we're looking at levels,
Right.
that'll be the point in time. when we
Well,
can
you know,
address it.
I had many discussions with Mr. Dietrich, and one of his concerns was, okay, what is the normal, every constant decibel reading in any area of your township, not specifically your business district or your residential district, but he said, I think everybody
Now
has
it's
to take.
45.
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying, that it's like, it's between 45, like for instance, when I responded to the complaints down there at Ellipse at 10:30 at night, with nobody in Ellipse's parking lot, nobody there, it was 45 decibels constant. It has to do with the freeway, and I think too, the elevation plays a lot in it, you know, how that sound travels, you know. and-
Yeah, we know that it's going up, not down.
Right.
We know that.
So, you know, but.
What would have happened, do you think, if we put it next to that rock crusher?
Is there one down there?
No, but
No.
we had one down there that ran probably 12 to 14 hours a day. Fortunately, it was in the winter time, most of it was. People had their doors closed. And to be honest with you, did we get any complaints from
No.
them? No. And so, you know, that was,
No, and
had
again,
that been summertime, I think.
yeah,
it'd
it
been
would have been a different story, but I mean, that's specifically why we gave the time frame we did.
Right,
so-
Right.
yes, it
That was-
is, it is, but I'm just saying, I'm just thinking, if I'm living next door to a guy crushing rocks, probably not too happy. Yeah. I'm willing to give it a try, to be honest with you, and, you know, this is one of those things, if it proves to be unwieldy at some point in time, you don't have that much invested in this thing to go a different direction.
Okay.
But sure enough, with nothing, people will abuse it.
Yeah.
We have to have something.
Well, it's for both parties, and it's only for where residents
Right.
abuts business.
Yeah, I think that's something that needed to be pointed out.
Yeah, that's a key factor. You could never do this resident to resident.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. No, exactly.
And we talked about how Russell's had problems now that they have a noise ordinance.
That's residential to residential.
Their noise ordinance is across the board.
Yeah, and
it's
Yeah.
enforced by the.
No, unless you wanna hire 5 people full-time to be
Well, they use.
having every offense
it's
war with
not-
everybody who.
Yeah, they use their police department to enforce it.
And they are citing people.
Well,
Well, my recommendation would be, I'd like to have all 3 of us here to,
oh, absolutely, well, yeah.
so.
But I think we could close this hearing.
What's
Go backwards in dates, can, date-wise, going, say you
Once we
close
close
this
it, we have
hearing,
20 days.
Yeah.
20
so say you
days,
have
and
20.
so where does that put us
Yeah, well, I would vote on it,
Up to the next.
next
at the
meeting.
next meeting?
That's why we couldn't do it this time, because we had the holidays, so we had the 2-week span, we couldn't make the 20 days without having a special meeting.
Then I'm gonna make a motion to close the hearing.
Before we close,
Okay.
any additional comments or questions?
There's more detail than what I've covered. Let me just-
I repeat.
Now I will second.
John
Yes.
and Mike,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, so that's adjourned, right,
That's adjourned, and so that we have 20 days
from today.
from today.
So we'll just automatically place that on the agenda.
Yeah, I made a trip up to Adam Hall yesterday afternoon. I just went up there now. Few straggler things, but it didn't seem like an extreme amount.
Were the bins all gone finally?
The only bin left, there's
Tire bin.
2 bins, no, tire bins there, and there's still 2 of the regular bins.
And Emmerich told me about 2 o'clock, we collected another 30, 40 tires during the course of midday today. Now, in one respect, it's good to get rid of all these things.
Yeah.
In other respect, it's kind of sad to see the jokers that are, it's free!
Right.
We ended up with a white Christmas tree outside our door. We did.
Yeah.
Maybe that can go on
I
with the tires.
don't know why they couldn't find the dumpsters. They must have rode around thinking, not at the
No,
service
they thought
garage.
they did.
So they just opened up their door and threw it. And I don't know.
Jane was here when it happened, I'm pretty sure.
For what? She was?
Saturday, yeah, they dropped
They
it
just
here, and
couldn't find us.
Jane was working, and she looked out, and she says, and I talked to her later, she says, yeah, somebody dropped a Christmas tree here, instead of taking it down there. She says, but I couldn't catch her, but I couldn't get the license plate number, it was too late. She said,
Well, maybe it was being thrown away, it was simply a donation to the township.
Maybe,
could be,
maybe.
yes, yes.
It's just a coincidence.
Christmas in July.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
But there
another.
was a lot by the dumpsters this morning.
Yeah.
Was there?
Yeah. I just
And
wanted
one
to see
of
if there
them
was
was-
anything good left.
One of them,
There
was-
wasn't.
dumpsters was going down the road, and, when I got on the freeway, because it went on the freeway, right, turned and went on the freeway right in front of us.
Yeah, but there was no good junk this year.
No.
It was all junk.
It was very
It
disappointing.
was. But we have to tell Fred that there was, 3 Pac-Man machines?
Oh,
Yeah.
A year later, and he's still saying, why didn't I take that Pac-Man machine?
I was gonna cry when we jumped in the
Did
dumpster.
you see that?
But I
Did
miss
you
it.
see that, what we did?
Just crunched it.
1 every 3 minutes?
Yeah. Oh, the time? Yeah.
And that's like nothing compared to what they did the 2 days before that.
3 minutes per car when you're the 30th car.
Yeah. Yeah.
People were
You
very,
know,
people were very patient, though. I mean,
Bernie Jacobs was in there 4 times. So she managed to, and she had that little tiny car.
Mhm.
So she managed to make 4 trips.
yeah.
Was that the little red car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Bernie Jacobs.
Oh, I didn't know who that was. She actually stopped into the office that
Jacobs
day.
Lane.
And no, to ask, she goes, I only have a little car, and I can only bring 2 things at once. Will they let me, do I have to pay each time the car comes around? I says, no, I think they'll let you go. Pay
Yeah.
only once.
Maybe she's-
She had in the back of a Kia Soul.
I was gonna say,
It
I
was about the
knew-
size of, the
I know.
trunk was the size of a
It was
suitcase.
Size of
I
a
know.
bread box,
I
yeah.
know.
The car is so small.
Absolutely.
And then there were the people with the full-size pickup trucks that had them stacked up
Who's-
16 feet high, so they got their money's
The
worth.
rented U-Haul.
Yeah.
The rented U-Haul, that was
It
impressive.
just- I'm writing that, when I write my book, that's gonna take up a whole chapter. You know what, I asked that guy, I said, hey, what's in the back of this thing? Oh, I don't know, it might be about a foot, or, he and his wife. Oh, maybe about a 1.5 feet high. I asked Emmerich, he said it was filled to
It
the
was
top.
filled to the top. It was. filled
Why
to
would
the
you
top.
lie?
Because you were gonna charge him $10 instead of $7.
No, I charged him $10,
did?
but I should have
Yeah.
charged, no, I charged him $15. And, but why would you lie like that? I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of negotiating that goes on there, you don't realize it.
Exactly, exactly.
About 1 out of 4 comes in, oh, we didn't know you charged for this.
You pay? No, I'm gonna pay to haul your junk away.
It's still a deal, because what they were saying, that waste management charges you like something $50-some if you leave a mattress at the end of your drive for them to pick up.
No, 99% of the people are very happy with the service,
No,
and they're very
otherwise it's-
complimentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, 99%. Cause, yeah, I get a lot of calls of people thanking us and that.
We got, even on Friday afternoon, we got a couple from the seniors, and we're thanking,
Thank you for coming, Mike.
See ya.
Bye, Mike.
thanking guys who told me they did a great job.
Oh,
We need to have it more often to clear the township. That's what, if you're a garage
Hey,
sale.
whoa.
I know,
Whoa.
I know.
Whoa.
You're in.
She was talking to the guy that wanted to have it weekly.
Yeah.
If you're a garage sale, the worst thing that ever happened, I love garage selling, are these communities now that have annual ones. Because like, the first 2 or 3 years, they're great. Everybody's getting rid of everything. And now you go, after they've had them for 5, 6 years, they'll have a little card table in their garage with, so you've parked your car, walked all the way up to the garage for this card table of nothing.
It's got 3
Then you
coffee
gotta
cups
get
on
that-
it,
Yeah, then you gotta
and
get
2 of them
that.
from the breakfast.
Because you've depleted the whole community, they've had garage sale after garage sale, so there's nothing there anymore. So
Well-
we have this,
Truly, this was a real purging year, because we haven't had a crowd like this in 9, 10 years.
it's because we didn't do it for the seniors last year, so they saved it all for us.
Well, that's,
Yeah. They said, well, that's right, we'll save it for next year in our garage.
Yeah, she's got a washer and dryer and.
well, there is some truth to that, because
I know.
they're allowed 10 items, up to 10 items, and there was a lot.
Yeah.
The thing is, with all the mommy swap sites that are out there now,
You would think they get rid of, well, they're not, they don't know about those.
yeah, there's so many of them now.
I know, but they don't know about those.
Yeah, I had my washer and dryer, I put a new one in, threw the other ones in the mommy swap, and some girl calls me up about the washer, I just need the washer. Okay. Does it work? Yeah, it works fine, it's just,
Just 19 years old.
yeah. And I had these things in there, $75 a piece. She goes, I'll take it. She calls me back, would you take 55? And I said, sure, I'll take 55. In the back of my mind, I'm saying, I take nothing, I just want them out of my garage.
Yeah.
And then my niece calls me up, turns out my nephew needs a dryer.
The other one,
It's like, yeah, come on down, it's all yours, just get it out of here.
we would just put things at the end of our drive with a little freeze sign, and you'd walk away from it and turn back and look, and it'd be gone that fast. Picnic tables.
Well, before I moved here, I lived on Turney Road, in Maple Heights, which is a great road. Back then, we had actual city pickup. I don't care what you put on the curb, it was gone. I got rid of these like rotten railroad ties, I had those stacked out there. They were out there 5 minutes before somebody.
took them.
Had a couple of ottomans and 2 chairs.
They're junk when you got them? Yeah.
Yeah, my sister gave them to me, and I have them in the basement. And then, well, the issue was I had this Shih Tzu for a while, and for some reason, the only place I liked to go to the bathroom was to go in the basement on the one ottoman. And so, okay, these things got to go. Somebody stopped, and the guy,
Took it.
and I'm sitting there watching. The guy, takes
You don't want
takes the
that.
chair, takes the first ottoman, eats the second ottoman, you see him go, "Ooh-ah." Puts it in his car anyway. It's like, oh, well, good luck with that. It was worth watching now.
Like Dunham Plaza?
Well, it's like Solon, they take
Yeah,
it.
I was,
Solon, they take everything.
it was Attorney Dunham Plaza,
Uh-huh.
and then you go toward Bedford, and I was in that first block, so I was maybe 20 houses down from Attorney Dunham Plaza.
But you were on Churney Road?
On Attorney Road.
You were?
Oh, yeah, right on Attorney.
Okay.
That's why, when I moved out here, I had a 40 by 120 lot,
Yeah, I know.
and I was like, 30 feet from the street, so when they said they were building a freeway back there, I was like, that's 500 feet. That's halfway across, that's halfway to Rockside Road from where I was at,
How'd you find out here?
Huh?
How'd you find out here?
We were just looking for school systems.
Yeah, school
They had the
systems.
4 kids, and we
Yeah.
wanted to get them into a better school system, so. That was the whole rationale for moving.
Mm-hmm.
When they grow up, you don't need the school system anymore. So I got 4 grandkids in the school system now.
You have to do your term, Somebody paid for you. Today some guy came in, an elderly gentleman, and says, did I miss it? And I go, what? And he goes, trash day. And I go, you did, I'm sorry, it was this weekend. And he just must have been mad, and he goes, so you're hiring illegal aliens to cut our park now, huh? And I know, and I said, no, we contract with JFD. I said, do you need a job? Because they've been looking for people.
Yeah.
I says, they're trying to hire local, and they can't get anybody. I said, I can get you in there if you want. And he goes, they can't find anybody? I says, no, I think that's a problem with all the landscapes. They can't find anybody, so they have to go and bring them in.
Well, if you drive from 44 to Auburn Road on 87, there are 9 places with Help Wanted signs.
Yeah.
And you're talking, one of them is a restaurant, one's a pizza place, and there's a couple, one's an asphalt company, one's a car dealer or a auto mechanic's place.
The auto bar yesterday, they got to sign up, they need a technician, they need stock help, they need counter or checkout people.
Nobody wants to work.
So
But
what did
he
the
softened
other guy
up.
do?
Yeah, then he softened up. Then he goes, oh, that's too bad. That's too
He didn't
bad.
want a job.
No, he didn't want a job.
Should have made him go
But
to
he was
work.
like so mean.
Yeah, Frank, I was talking to Linda's Mech on Friday night
Again.
again. Well, actually, talked to her twice on Friday night. We're out for dinner, and she called me in the middle of dinner, so I'm talking to her for a while, and I was calling and talking to her again. And got on a topic that for some reason something got messed up, and she had a microwave that had to be thrown out, and she missed I think she missed calling in for the pickup. So I said, okay, Linda, I'm going up there in the morning. I'll swing past your house. I'll pick it up. So I threw it in the back seat of my car and took it up for her.
chance you didn't get around that neighborhood and they all were waiting for you.
I went in early. Yeah, Saturday morning at 7:30, I figured I could slip in and slip out.
Yeah.
So I had a convertible, how much are we putting in the convertible?
Well,
And the town just like
Newbury
Newbury
had theirs too, right?
I thought it was, theirs is Monday,
I think
today.
Bainbridge had theirs too.
Oh, no, Newbury had theirs Saturday because after I left here.
Oh, you know what?
I went to.
You're right.
In fact, I went to Newbury Tire to get a trailer tire, and they were all.
They did have their trash day, their senior day was today.
Yeah, okay.
No, they do it the other opposite of us. Yeah.
I think they had to because it would have been Friday and they told them, sorry, we're already tied up with Auburn. Bob Devine was with us.
Well, it was funny because they brought the son to jump.
Did they have a lot? It
Well, I
said-
saw somebody going in with 2 mattresses, and, you know, of course, I had already gone through up here, you know, but I'm thinking, I better get the Newbury Tire, because Alex over gonna be there till noon, you know, I gotta get this trailer tire so I can go to Brewery on Monday morning. So I'm going by, and there's this truck with these 2 big mattresses, and then, oh boy, everything.
How you doing? Hello. Good.
Mr. Dillon,
I need to sign it?
yeah, by my window, please. By my order window,
Pick up window.
pickup window, yeah.
It's not really, it's just about 90% back, so.
Hello. Got your email.
Good.
John?
How you doing?
Good, how are you? You're gonna be a little chilly with shorts on.
Not me.
I'm not the expert in net metering, as you know.
I knew you'd get it to the right spot.
Right. I think we only have,
It's just that mini skirts.
my area, I think I only have about half dozen customers. You, somebody in Moreland Hills with a solar panel, Kenston Schools, and the pond. Everybody else, I can't think of anybody, unless there's somebody up the road that has, I think there's somebody in Hamden that has something.
I know.
But just not a lot of
I sent you an
takers.
agenda.
Yeah, I
Did
know.
you read the agenda?
Yes, I did, but I never looked
At
at
the
it.
time, I know. It's my fault, I should
No,
have.
that's fine. I mean, this third world was,
That's really good. Just lay back, relax.
calm down, right? I'm sure that it'll be a big point.
Were you like in the middle of your stove for dinner?
No, as a matter of fact, I went out earlier today.
Do you have that?
Good.
Uncle Jim and I, we had 2 out meals today.
Wow.
I don't think so.
So I was already
He
filled up.
was telling me,
I have
yes,
this
I guess,
And that's,
he was the man.
you're on the commercial
He
rate.
was the man
That's
in
the
charge of
tier.
that.
Because you gotta remember, we talked about them, and Wendy and I came out and talked
Yeah,
about the
they went
manager.
really well.
Yeah.
And they were really happy with the field to put the.
Do you have an
bouncy
intercon,
houses
I couldn't,
in.
I don't have
I
a,
just never
do you have an
thought of that.
interconnection
I
agreement?
never
I
did.
thought we did.
The kid, I thought.
I mean, you don't have a
the
copy,
kid
that's what I'm
was
saying.
doing bouncy
I don't know, but we have it somewhere.
houses.
Yeah.
We don't wanna keep
I got his card.
Because somebody will have to find it
He's a
too,
fireman.
to see, to make sure.
in Akron.
So,
And, nice, and, I said, well, is there a lot of weddings? He said, oh, you can do that.
Yeah.
If we could do usually a second marriage or something like that.
I was gonna say.
We
it's
had, there's
changed.
lots of little kids at these little kids, and of course, I could just see my grandsons and granddaughters.
Hebron Valentine's, the end of Maple
This one
Leaf.
was like, shoot, and
Wow.
by older bride, I mean 38.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
You
saying,
know,
yeah.
yeah, and she wanted a big family thing. She wanted all the nieces and
Perfect.
nephews and everybody
Yeah,
to
yeah,
come.
yeah,
Yeah, I bought a bounce house for my grandkids.
yeah.
Yeah.
A big one like that?
No, not one of
Well-
those huge ones. It's probably 12 foot by 12 foot.
Cool.
$300,
Yeah,
something
make sure
like
you
that.
anchor that thing.
But- Huh?
Make sure you anchor that thing.
Yeah, the thing is, you know, you only put it on when it's nice. You let it you know, you let them bounce and
Yeah.
then they grow up all of a sudden and they're all too big to go in it.
Oh.
So the thing that goes, sits in the basement till 2 years till somebody else has a kid, so.
Gina, did you give it to me?
so-
No, I did not.
You were
You
here.
see the
Thank
TV,
Huh?
you didn't see on the TV over the weekend, this one that blew away at this carnival. You see that?
Oh, but yeah, that-
Yes.
Yeah, all of a
With people
sudden it
in
was
it?
there, little kids were in it, and all of a sudden this wind came up and pulled it right down the length of the midway. Yeah,
yeah, you gotta be careful.
some of those mothers got a little testy.
I don't know why.
Well, the good news is
They were inside it.
the kids went sliding, they went out in a big airbag, so it's kinda like,
Yeah.
the thing is, it isn't gonna go that far because you got extension cord, a blower,
You know what you call
3 or 4
those?
feet pops out, the thing,
You know what you call those? Famous last words.
my grandkids are getting old enough now, we got 2 of them that are really small enough to go in there and play. So I transferred it to my daughter's house. You want it back? No. Your kids are the only ones playing, it's yours.
Here, you keep it.
You fold it up and
Yeah.
it's about yay long and this big around, plus you got the blower. They're cumbersome. But yeah, even like, I used to move stuff out in the basement, like Christmas time. I put it down there and it was, so it must be like just 8 foot high. So it was just big enough to fit in the room downstairs and send it in the basement. Then it doesn't blow away.
Yeah, then you're fine. I'll tell you, I was doing this tank liner down in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and hurricane was blowing in off the Gulf. And they called this big meeting, you know, a plant manager, and he was like, John, your job is to secure the tank liner. It's about 100,000 gallon tank, it's fairly good size, but not the biggest. And the one guy who was working with me, he goes, you ever been in a hurricane? And I said, nah. He says, you don't want to be. As soon as I give you the high sign, jump on the highway and get the hell out of here, forget this tank liner. It's one of those weird things. Hurricane came within about 50 miles and just made a right-hand turn and went the other way.
That's what makes them so dangerous is that you just try
I
and
think the
predict it.
hurricane that hit that place, but they still had streetlights that were all twisted like pretzels from a hurricane like 10 years earlier. I said, nah, that's all right. You call and tell me how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People complain about high weather, they just don't have any hurricanes, they come off the Duke.
Yeah, it was Chevron. I figured they had more money than me. I'll make you another thing.
Which Chevron were you at? Port Arthur?
Pascagoula.
Pascagoula? Yeah, I've been to Port Arthur.
Yeah, well, in Port Arthur is where that big Alpine coal plant is. Yeah, I had a lot of stuff down
Did you
there.
go back down there?
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, it's funny, that goes
It's just
just
burrito.
right on the shore there,
My friend,
just a layer of oil.
I'll tell you
the
what,
softer
though,
version of that?
this guy who would
What?
work with me on a lot of
The
those
softer
jobs,
version
Yeah,
of
the
I don't
softer
care what time
version.
he could
Call me
find the
little
best
friend.
place to eat. We were down there and we went right, we were sitting 2 feet off the Gulf and we were getting, at this place they had popcorn shrimp,
So,
bowls like
well,
this.
I got a repair order in at Windstream.
And popcorn
But they
shrimp
said
and coleslaw and
the
it was the best we
possibility
ever
of
ate.
Yeah, that
that
still reminds
being
me of the
compromised
dinner down there,
is
'cause I went
like
down to
slim
the
to
BP.
none.
Okay.
And basically we got a per diem,
And they also asked for what
gas station.
number has been calling.
Just
And
get some
I
stuff
said it was
together.
different, and I said, it would be
No,
easier for you
it
to look
didn't
that
cost
up
that
or
much
wait
money.
until I get
The
my
other
bill.
thing, if you, I don't know what time of
So
year
they,
you're down there.
they
but
sent me a
everything-
request and
First thing
release
you do, you sit
for
down, you
telephone
bring in
records
something
form if
like
we want
this
to
high,
do that,
so
but
you can-
they said, first let's send a repair crew out to check it
Go
over.
out to south, man,
I was basing it.
I don't think they have any glasses.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
was
like
too.
conversation.
Because, I'm
You
living
were
in
working
town.
there,
Yeah.
and it was fine, and
Yeah.
the next
So
day
it was all
it was
based upon what he suggested.
Yeah,
And once
Well,
we
where
did
were these
remove
guys
the
thinking, oh, no, that's
Ethernet
half
cable from the system itself,
Are you kidding me?
that freed up the system for us to use it, so.
so it doesn't do that when you
No,
move the cord, when you take the Ethernet
no,
off?
it still does that, it still does the problem that we're experiencing.
It's just that it clears it and then you
It
start all
clears it so we
over.
can use it, right, because
Yeah.
it was, basically taken out, so. Wonder of technology.
Yeah,
My phone's been doing something weird.
Good and bad.
like what? Like their phones have been acting up down at the shop.
Well, you know how you start it, and it kind of like opens up, just to the full screen. Every so often it'll come up, go about a third of the way, and close. Hit it again, third of the way and close. And you have to keep doing it until it eventually gets you to reset it. Of course, I called AT&T, and whenever I have a problem, it never fails. You've never seen that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, only that was the 1,000th call that day.
Yeah, so she reset the phone, she says, no, check it, if it comes back, we'll send me a new phone.
I was getting emails from Apple, telling me that, my purchase was going through $63.
Mm-hmm. I got that.
And so I
That's
called
somebody hacking
Apple.
your phone.
Yes. And, well, actually, they're trying to hack your phone.
Yeah.
She says, what's the email from? And I said, it's from email@apple.com. And she goes, that's not us. We would never put email
Right.
at. And she said, what they want me to do is answer them back and say I didn't order anything. And that's how they'll get into
You'll
your.
access your phone.
But meanwhile, then 2 weeks later, somebody hacked in, I mean, hundreds of dollars I got charged on my Apple account, or on my Visa card. But somehow they said, I called Apple again, Apple said somebody hooked into my family sharing, that my friends and family sharing, and I go, I don't share, I don't have that. And they said, well, somebody hooked you up into that, and that's how they got into my account. So they had to remove me from that from their end, and they were really good, they raised all the charges and everything, but scary stuff, you know? Luckily, I only use my debit card because I check that balance all the time. If it was my credit card, I never check that once a month, you know? They'd get away with it.
So far on my debit card.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the bank, now, you're overdrawn, you're overdrawn.
I don't know, I've been pretty
I just
good.
thought with the debit card, I got notifications, so.
Right.
Anything over $100, they send me a love
I
letter.
had this guy over in Africa charging like $1
Yes.
over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And they called me up and said, have you been in Nairobi lately?
Yeah.
No.
East side or west side?
Yeah, and the lady said they're trying to track these guys down, but it's a major problem.
Yeah.
You know, and she said, I'm pretty sure, you know, that we were pretty sure that, you know, I do have some international travel and stuff that I've done, but you need to always do is just call them first. Tell them you're going to some country.
Oh, your credit cards, yeah.
Exactly. And if you do that, you're pretty safe.
I used to tell you that about going out of state too, but
Well, I've just done it whenever I've traveled overseas.
I've never done it going out of state.
They
I never had any problem using my credit card for anything.
Oh, not out of state, but I'm talking about traveling like in Europe. and
Oh, yeah.
Middle East, and because I had a lot of Middle East stuff there for a while. And she just said, that's not a problem, just, you know, you just call them first. And, you know, if you do that, you're pretty safe. And I used to tell you that about if you tell us ahead of time, you don't worry about it. There are some rather shady characters.
No.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Say it isn't so.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
So Emmerich, how are you feeling today?
I'm well, sir.
Did you have a nice workout over the weekend?
You know where I was over the weekend, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a nice workout, but,
That takes the place of riding a bicycle, how many times?
Just figured, since you were loading and unloading vehicles for 5 hours straight, you might be a little sore. I was sore just watching.
You were there, you were witnessing, and actually I got the message from you with the breakdown as how many per minute, as it, oh my God, every 3 minutes, so that was fun. But see, we did that Thursday and Friday as well.
Also, yeah.
So it wasn't just the weekend, because we had the 104 pickups Thursday and Friday. I live more above. The only thing is somehow I gained weight.
Well, it's muscle memory.
those voted to her.
Yeah.
And that's what they say, you swap muscle for fat.
Need muscles heavier.
So that was good. That was really busy.
Intuition is good.
Let's check the time. See what it does?
Yeah.
Ready to turn it on?
Yeah.
It
Oh,
turns itself off.
uh-huh. Yeah. Where'd you get that, Walmart?
It's my work phone.
Tell me, you know.
It's a Galaxy S7. I've only had it 6 months. You'd think it would work longer.
And that's not the one that catches fire.
No.
No. Or you wish you would not.
Yes, hey, good news, you're getting a company phone. And by the way, you're the first one on the alarm system call list.
No, thank you.
And we don't trust your flip phone, so we're putting that on. Okay, on that note, call the meeting to order. And Emmerich, so get some arm exercise if you lead us in the pledge.
You got it, sir. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we've got a couple of sets of minutes. Regular meeting from May 15th. Any comments or corrections?
Motion to approve.
I will second.
John?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. And then we have the public hearing from May 15th. And if you have any additional comments, I will make a motion to approve those.
Second.
John?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes. Okay. Now we have a crack seal bid opening at 8 o'clock. So it takes us down to our guest, Dave Dillon, manager of External Affairs and Illuminating Company.
Thank you. I know the camera's over there, so I don't know how you want me to, normally people just.
What's your best side?
This is my best side.
There you go.
All right.
Judge.
At least you got one.
Well, thanks for having me here. I just have a few items I wanted to, I made enough PowerPoints for the trustees, and I'll just, here, I can, yeah, just,
Thank you.
for Nancy.
Thank you.
And then leave one for
Mr. Kavanaugh, yes.
Mr. Kavanaugh. So this will kind of give us something to follow.
Okay.
So we are in storm season, seems like we're always in storm season, but I wanted to make sure I got a plug-in with the newspapers here for our smartphone app. So this is a one-page, I heard you talking about a Galaxy, and maybe folks already have this installed on their phones. but this is a way to report outages. I was at Troy Fire Department last Wednesday, and I talked about it, and sure enough, we had an outage right there. I said, well, you could, it was down on State Route 700, and I said, see, you could just report it right from your phone, so.
Did you tell him you did that on purpose?
That's right, it was all, they're all orchestrated. I have the control center in my basement, so. I'll leave these here, Nancy, we can, and that is available online, you can download the form, and then just, the app's available in the Microsoft, the iPhone store and the, whatever the other one is.
No
Android
problem,
store.
Nancy's got an account there.
Yeah, and I heard you talking about it, but you can do things like, you can get alerts, text messages about weather alerts, or if we have to do outages, to do planned work, and that's another thing, again, with the newspaper, and I know they probably tired of hearing this message, because I've said it in Parkman and other places, is what's happening is folks are disabling their landlines, but they're not telling the illuminating company. So in an emergency, we push out calls, hey, we're gonna be changing out this transformer, or we've got some work maintenance plan that we can no longer defer, we need to do it during regular working hours. Try to minimize the disruptions, we push out automated calls, and if you don't have a number on file, you don't get the message. And I know this has happened in communities like Pepper Pike, and then they go complain to Mayor Bain, hey, somebody, what happened to my power? Of course, they call City Hall, or they call the street department, or they call the fire department, and they don't necessarily know why the power, but the residents do get a text message. So this way, or they get a voice message when they're on our automatic call out, but they can also sign up to get text messages on the phone. So that's kind of a handy thing. And then you can just go ahead and you can report an outage from your phone, you can look at what the extent of the outage is, so it's helpful for people rather than if they don't have access to computer, obviously, because their power's down. This is a way they can do it on their mobile device. Okay, so that was one item I wanted to talk about. We're back in the business of buying refrigerators. So as part of our energy efficiency push, so there's a bill insert that, and again, I'll leave these up here for Nancy. Folks can take a copy, but there's a $50 credit. Happens, we just started that program again this year. I bought my new refrigerator last year, so I don't get a chance to take advantage of that, but maybe some folks in the room or readers of the newspaper will get a chance to, opportunity to use the credit to get a new refrigerator. And they'll haul away the old one, it has to be in working order and so forth. We are also making available energy efficiency kits. I just found out about this, and the website is ohioenergykit.com. And again, I'll leave that information on the table here. I'm not sure what all the kits it says. It looks like it includes 4 LED light bulbs and a compact fluorescent in various wattages, a furnace filter whistle, and 2 LED lights. So a way for folks to get converted to LEDs. I think what it does is it tells you when your filter starts to get clogged, it makes a noise. Okay. All right, and the one other item I wanted to talk about tonight, just very briefly, is the status of Ohio's 2 nuclear plants. And people may not be familiar with it, but, and I'll talk, one other item I just see on my list I want to talk about. We're at a crossroads in Ohio and in the United States. One of the unintended consequences of inexpensive natural gas is that coal plants, and particularly nuclear plants, can no longer compete with inexpensive natural gas. And so what that means is for people in Northeast Ohio that there's a very real possibility that the Perry nuclear plant could be closed prematurely. So Senator Eklund from Munson Township has introduced legislation that would create what's called a zero emissions credit to recognize the fact that both the Perry plant and the Davis-Besse plant generate about 90% of the carbon-free electricity in the state. If those plants were to close down, because without getting into a lot of macroeconomic discussion, we essentially sell the output from those plants into a wholesale market below our cost. And that's been going on. Yeah, it is kind of dumb. And so how long do you...
We'll make it up in value.
Yeah, right, we'll make it up in volume. And just to let you guys know that it's not a problem particular to First Energy, this is an article from last Wednesday's Wall Street Journal, the 3 Mile Island plant in central Pennsylvania is at the risk of closing too. And Exelon, which operates the plant, said without some kind of a subsidy, they'll shut the plant down in 2019. And we've pretty much said the same thing. First Energy is going to get out of the competitive generation business in the state of Ohio, but whoever buys this plant wouldn't be able to operate it. So it's either we get this legislation that's favorable at the state level, or something, or the federal government intervenes, or the plant closes. So it's, I know you're looking at me like, how can that be?
No, I just think it's some pretty bad business.
Well,
I've already.
yeah, we've had this conversation,
I
but
just think that if I ran my business that way, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
well, again, it's not a problem that's specific to First Energy. All nuclear plants in the United States that are in a competitive market
Yeah.
cannot sell their output.
Remember they had the old coal furnaces in the houses, those big,
Yeah,
right.
okay, and they had the conversion kits where you just put a gas burner inside of them? We do the same thing with
I've got some
nuclear
fact
plants.
sheets here. So if the plants were to close, just to kind of give people a sense, both plants employ about 1,400 people. They pay about $25 million a year in state and local taxes to Ottawa County, Lake County. Every dollar spent in the nuclear energy facility creates an additional $1.04 in the local economy. And again, they generate about 90% of the carbon-free electricity. So just, again, some fact sheets, you can leave them here for folks that want to find out a little bit more. I'm just keeping it high level rather than getting into all the details about it. And then we do have a website if folks want to go out there and find out more information. And I was just going to say, I got a link here that I can leave with everybody. So again, the real possibility exists that the plants would close prematurely. It would be a shame to have them close. We would end up importing more power into the state of Ohio, and we'd make ourselves more dependent on out-of-state suppliers as opposed to generate. We already don't generate all the electricity we use in this state. So again, if there's information there, if you want to go out to the website. And then the last thing I have is we will be trimming trees in Auburn Township. I think we may have already started on the 2 Auburn circuits. And I believe it's either Aspen or Nelson will be notifying customers. They go out to the doors, they knock on the doors, they leave the door hangers. There's a number to call.
It's Nelson, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the number too.
Okay.
They stopped in here, they were real nice.
Good. So if there are questions about it, we do have a supervisor that looks over the crews. They should be practicing safe work practices, using cones, flaggers where necessary. So if there's anything that Emmerich or anybody from the township sees somebody, we'd like to know that. And every once in a while, we do get a complaint about tree trimming. So if they come to the township, if you want to direct those to me, Nancy or the trustees, I'll make sure that our forestry folks look at it. Or Emmerich as well. So, again, I just want to say too why I'm here, how much I enjoy working with Nancy, Emmerich, and Chief Phillips. He never hesitates to call me. Although he didn't call me in the last storm on March 8th, and I told him that when I saw him at the Township Association. I said, "Why didn't you call me?" And he said, "I think he said he was sick." Yeah.
You're on his speed dial.
I know.
I've seen your name. You're like number 4, I think.
So that was my extent of my talk tonight, was just to give you some information and answer questions that the trustees or answer anybody from the audience had.
I just want to say, in my neighborhood, there has not been a significant power outage since I bought a generator.
It's good insurance.
And it's just a little cheap one too. It's not like I got the big one. It's $300. Run the sump pump and the refrigerators, but I haven't plugged. It's been.
You gotta make sure it works.
Yeah, that's what I finally did. I got it out there, and so what I do now is I put it on the back of my golf cart. I take my electric chainsaw and I run it, and then use that just to run the gas on it. But yeah, it's. It's just me personally. I don't know about anybody else.
No,
Outages wise, huh?
Yeah, my power's been out.
Maybe we need to get you a generator. You'll have insurance then.
Remember, man, over your house to see the works?
No, I don't understand it, it just can't seem to get away from the power going out on a pretty regular basis.
2 years ago, that was my tree that took the primaries
That was
out.
the Gordy's tree.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's
Yeah.
one explanation.
So,
Yeah, right in the middle of the parade, I
It
believe,
was.
if I wasn't, I sat there for 3 hours waiting for you guys to get out of the way, it was awesome.
I was waiting for the tree trimmers to come through.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Dixon. On occasion, the Perry nuclear plant will shut down for routine maintenance.
Right.
And I'm kind of curious, how would a general shutdown, say like a projected permanent shutdown, be different than for a shutdown when you do routine maintenance?
Good question. So what's going to happen, when they do routine maintenance, because I actually have a nuclear background, what you do is you take the plant offline, you stop the fission, and they actually go in there, move the fuel out of the reactor into a fuel pool, and what they do is a very complicated change out of 1/3 of the fuel rods. In a situation where they would close it down permanently, they'd remove all the fuel, put it in a fuel pool, let it cool off, they'd shut the reactor down permanently, and then all that fuel's going to be stored on site. Because that's another, I don't know how much time I have here.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. We store spent nuclear fuel on, all the nuclear plants in the United States store the fuel on site. The original agreement 40 years ago was that the Department of Energy would take the spent fuel and either store it or reprocess it. France reprocesses their nuclear fuel. We store it on site in the United States, and we were going to build a repository at Yucca Mountain, but Senator Reid worked very effectively when he was in the U.S. Senate to close down Yucca Mountain after the federal government had spent $30 billion to do the research and build it. It's an underground hardened rock formation. And also the reason we don't, so then you say, well, if we can't store the nuclear fuel in an underground repository, why don't we reprocess it like France does? Because my understanding from the former head of the nuclear operations for First Energy, we only capture, I know I'm talking too fast and can't capture all this. We only capture about 5% of the actual energy potential in the fuel. So once it's removed out of the reactor, there's still 95% that we could use if we reprocess the fuel. I'm not a nuclear engineer, I don't know what all reprocessing involves, but President Carter signed an executive order in the late 70s banning reprocessing of fuel. So what we do now is we store the fuel on site. We store it in a fuel pool, and when the pools get too big, we put it in helium and steel and concrete cylinders, and we store them on site. And that's what we'd end up doing with Perry. We just take all the fuel out of the reactor, put it in a fuel pool, and then we'd store it in these cans.
I think Carl was asking, what's the difference between a shutdown, I mean, you're out purchasing energy off the grid.
Right. Oh, in that case, okay. Is that what you're asking?
I think that touches upon it, yes.
Well, there's extra capacity in this part of the United States. There's about 23%. I just read, it was in one of these articles, so it's about 24% reserve margin in this part of the United States. There's a glut of wholesale. So when a plant goes down for a month like Perry, when they do the refueling, yeah, we got to go out and purchase power. And when I was at Beaver Valley, this was probably 10 years ago, it was $1 million a day. So they would go out on the wholesale market and buy that to make up the difference that they couldn't generate. But in terms of just, if we just shut the plant down, you'll take the fuel out of the reactor, you'll have a security force, an armed security force that'll stay on the plant site indefinitely, and anybody else that had jobs in maintenance or whatever, most of those people will be laid off. So.
Well, right, well, I kind of understand that, but it does, I mean, I don't know that much about nuclear energy, and like you said, you don't know a lot, so obviously I know less. But it doesn't seem to me that there's going to be a grandiose expense if we just set the plant and shut it off. Do the things that you just said. Am I correct?
Well, here's what I'm told. What I'm told is once these
Okay.
plants shut down, from the experts that are in the industry and what I've read online, is once they're shut down, they're very hard to, on a permanent basis, when they begin to do things to decommission a plant. And they say it's no longer economically viable to operate it. Well, then they're going to, lay off the people, that all non-essential people would be removed from the site. They'd be laid off. They'd remove the fuel from the reactor, anything that could be, a lot of cases, they say, okay, it's gonna cost too much to start this plant. Watts Bar, one of their plants had a fire in 1985. I think it was off for 30 years before the TVA decided to restart it. It's just, they're very expensive plants to restart once they go offline. They just are.
It's kind of interesting. Another question I have, there's the other plant that's up there that's never been used, correct?
The other unit, yeah, well, they pretty much parted it out. There's not much there. It's just all there is a cooling tower, so.
Okay, so if that legislation should happen to pass in the Ohio House, Senate, etc.,
Right.
is that other plant in any which way going to receive benefits from that bill?
I mean, the non-operating plant, no. That's just all it is just a shell. There's just, my understanding is they've removed major components for the operating plant. They've taken it out of the one that was under construction that was never finished, Unit 2. So Perry 1 is all that operates, and you just see that, that's why you never see any output from that cooling tower, because there's nothing going through it. It's just a big empty shell. And there's no plans that, there's,
See, I think it's kind of frustrating to think that somebody built that and it was never needed.
Right.
And I built that.
and I built it too, honestly.
I know. So it's kind of hard to listen to the same guy who comes and tells you that I need you to build me this plant. I never use any of it. And now he's coming to tell me, well, now this is so expensive. It's hard to believe these guys. For me.
I
I'm not
understand.
that smart a guy. But it's hard for me to listen to him and believe him. I don't know. Frank, can you believe him?
No.
You don't believe me either. So we're both shop teachers.
I
and
understand.
we're not smart guys, but I'm telling you what, I don't think I'd have built that. Now, if they were spending their own money to build that, probably would have never built it. But they're playing with my money. And, those sound like the same guys that are in the business of selling electricity, but won't hook you up to sell you any.
Mr. Dixon, I do not envy your position, but I thank you for your answers.
Wonderful. All right, folks. Is there anything else?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Despite what everybody else said, I like you guys because I use electricity a lot and I really like it.
Well, you know what, here's the thing, and I know there's mixed feelings in this room, but I will say this, when I drive through Middlefield, I always wave at the Amish, because they're easy to get along with.
Yeah, they're the only ones who are mad at you. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was there today and I saw two guys with solar cells on their roofs.
Yeah, I always wave at the Amish, I give them a big hearty wave.
They're all
so.
charging their cell phones with their.
Exactly.
All right. Well, good luck with the crack ceiling pit, is that the excitement I'm gonna miss, or?
Well, if you stay, you won't miss it.
I'm sure you don't have anything better to do than listen to us talk about crack seal.
We still have to fill some time to get to
So how do you do this without one of your trustees? How does that work?
Well, it's kind of odd, but we can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of, as long as we got 2/3 here, you know.
I understand.
All right, well, thank you for
All
coming,
right,
sir.
thank you all.
Appreciate it.
There's handouts there, there's information. Again, I'm just here to share that
I
knowledge
know.
with you, and if you can, I'm not here to persuade, people have their own, they can make up their own minds. I report, you decide. Yes, all right, folks, have a good evening, nice seeing you.
I see it's Mr. Dillon, I apologize.
Oh, that's okay, no problem. So just don't come late for dinner.
There you go.
Scheduled reports, Frank Kitko, zoning inspector.
In case you all have a copy of report for May, we processed 15 applications. We did process 3 new homes and would have had 4, except somebody mislabeled his site plans and everything, so we couldn't process. But now that brings us to 8 new houses for the year, which I think is a little ahead of last year at this time. We will continue to have a couple BZA meetings. We had another denial request, so that'll be heard. I think, actually, it's gonna be a special meeting. And it's in reference to almond oil and some outdoor storage things, which you gentlemen may just get down the road. But yeah, everything's going along. I do have a meeting building department tomorrow evening about some things that we're working together on as far as the procedures of processing applications and the follow-up. Now, I've had a great relationship with the building department over the years, and we've had very little problems, but some of the other townships are having some difficulty, so we're gonna have a meeting and go over some procedures and how they operate and how things are done. And then on Friday, I do have a meeting. You said PJ's coming
Yes.
in reference to DiNardo's request at the corners down there. He's meeting with myself and trustee, and I don't think Dave's coming, but Dave did offer, Dietrich did offer to use his office, and I think Bridie's gonna be here as well. But,
ODOT?
I don't know if ODOT's coming, but wait, I know there's supposedly input from ODOT.
Okay.
But I think, I don't know if Brian, last I knew, he hadn't confirmed that Brian Blaine would be here. But maybe Anita from, what is it?
New Stockard?
Yeah, I don't know if she's gonna do that, but anyway, he has a proposal, and it does involve a request, switching properties with the township. But, that's it.
Thank you, Frank. Any questions for Frank?
Yeah. The special BZA meeting, has that been set? Is there a particular date for that?
I don't know if it's been totally set yet or not, because we just got it on Friday. So, Jane is, will be working on that one and get the legal ad in the paper. I don't know if she's got the date set or not.
Okay, because the regular one is just signing off, I thought.
Right. It's,
Okay.
no, this is, if they have it, we have it, it'll be a special meeting if all their paperwork is in and everything's looked at, and the legal ad gets in, so,
So check the Maple Leaf, huh?
yeah. Or
Okay.
you can check back.
Or
with-
News Herald,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Amber Gordon.
Okay, Auburn Township Road Department report for May 2017. Private oil well lines were located and marked for the Talamay Road project. We did use odd pubs, it was the first time we did call them in. And that stretch of road, it is Summit Petroleum that does control those lines there. And I did learn that we do have several different entities within the township as well running these private wells. So on top of calling OOPS, we now call odd pubs to locate these private wells. Stump grinding was completed with additional small trees and brush cleared in preparation for the drainage update on Talamay Road as well. And then Karen completed that in, I believe it was 2 days. So we go through that pretty quickly. Brush clearing and chipping was done on Bartholomew Road 1, Stafford Road 2, and Talamay Road 2 as well. And we'll continue to do that throughout the summer. We do have a couple calls in for site distance that will be taken care of in the next couple of weeks. We did have 2 sheriff call-outs for down trees, one on Champlain Drive, the other on Wing Road, and those are taken care of. Spot ditching done on Bartholomew Road and Thorpe Road as well. Our RDRs, our residential ditch requests, this is a typical time of year where they really start to pile on, and I have got a couple pages on my notepad for that already. So, but typically we get 99% of them done by the end of construction season. Auburn Community Park Trail was repaired. And the Eagle Scout Footbridge project buttoned up with the topping of the base stone that we laid with 617 gravel. The remaining acreage of the field has been mowed, and that is something we do 3 times a year. Not the playing area, but the balance of the field. The project itself with the footbridge came out really nice. I think the guy did a real good job there. And we did walk through the trail, and one of the things that we did notice, it's staying there. The stone's not moving, the trail's in place, and it's got a lot of use. Every time we're there, we have daily walkers, so it is a wonderful thing. Roadside mowing was done on the north side and will continue until complete, now that we're done for Memorial Day and the large item pickup. Cemeteries were prepared for Memorial Day with the recent graves leveled, topped, seeded, and mulched. Stump grinding debris was removed as well, and soil brought in, the areas were leveled, seeded, and mulched also. All footers are up to date. I do believe I have one that left on a recent grave that we have to do yet, so. And we did have one full interment for the month, and that was it. And that's what I got for you.
Thank you, Robert. Any questions for Robert?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just have a few minutes to, so. Mr. Everly, you wanna,
Just start a
if you
couple
wanna
of
do
things.
any filling out the, large items, since it was
Yeah.
your gentleman that,
Well, first of all, and I think the guys, these guys, we went from when we started, about almost 7 hours nonstop. No lunch, no nothing. And I want to thank the guys. I mean, they really put in that's a hard day, and the 2 days previous, that's a lot of stops.
We had 104 stops.
A lot of stops. And that's hauling stuff out of people's, lower floors. We don't go into upper floors or anything. So anyway, thanks, and pass that on again for the board. I think I speak for the whole board in that.
Absolutely.
That was a good thing. I want to really continue maybe to do a large item cleanup day at Adam Hall. It seems like it really worked out well. And the other thing, I don't know, I kind of talked with Emmerich a little bit. I think, in my opinion, this was our best hauler that we've had in years. Emmerich, do you conclude,
Yes.
you concur on that? I mean, they were in and out of there,
3 times during the day,
yeah.
twice prior. The one thing that got us was it truly held true to its name as large item, at least for the seniors. We got couches, stoves, things, really big stuff.
Right.
And we filled up more dumpsters Thursday and Friday that we've ever done before.
Mhm.
And I did not call in a panic, but I did call our contracted service provider, and I let them know around 2 p.m. that I'm full. And I need dumpsters tomorrow morning by 8 a.m. He says, "Emmerich, you called me at 2 o'clock. I says, well, from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, it just kept pouring in and pouring in. 7 a.m., he had a driver show up, swapped out 3 boxes by 10, 11 o'clock.
Mhm.
And it did not impede our progress.
Those guys were we kept running the line through, even though they were swapping out them boxes.
they got them in and out of there very quickly.
So I thought it was a highly successful
Then the other
job
thing,
you guys did.
the other thing also, that was unique to this year was the amount of metals that we did
Exactly, oh,
receive.
yeah, yeah.
It was the first time we swapped out an entire metals and filled another one on top of it as well.
Hopefully, I don't know what we'll get from metals, but
Right.
hopefully we'll come up and knock, it sounded like we collected a lot of money, but when you figured that we probably ran through 14 dumpsters.
Yeah.
But, once again, I think if anything, we need to maybe get a hold of Jogga Trumbull. There are a lot of tires in this township. And the more of them we can get rid of, the better off we all are. And so I think that's something to keep thinking in the back of our minds. We filled a dumpster and 2 dumpsters.
No, the tire
One
was
dumpster.
completely full,
Yeah.
and then about 50 tires showed up overnight.
Overnight. They probably grew out of the parking lot.
And then during the afternoon, someone came in with another load that.
Yeah. And we did have a lady come up who, at the end of it, and she just bought this house, she's new to the township and everything, but she's got 100 tires on our property. Now, I would have said, hey, before I take possession of this property, get these tires the hell out of here. But that was me. And so, there are still a lot of tires in the township, and I think, I'm not sure in past years, I don't recall filling a dumpster other than
maybe about 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, with tires. So anyway, keep that in mind. You wanna go ahead and open up that bid and,
Yep.
okay, I have lost all time, so.
This is you.
Okay. Okay. All right. And this is, these are bids, of course, for crack seal. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we have a bid guarantee.
I spelled it wrong, right?
Yeah.
Second page, look at the second page here.
Okay.
I guess it's-
I was just making sure all the other stuff is
Oh, okay.
okay. And we have a total bid price of $92,600. And it's all by road, with individual pricing per
Right.
road, so. And that's from PS Construction Fabrics, Inc. They're out of Wadsworth, Ohio. Okay. All right, second bid. This is Asphalt Fabrics and Specialties. All the good stuff is here. Total price, $135,980.
Okay?
All right.
Yeah, we have to use the unit. That's unit, there's a kind of like street by street, and we go through and pick out the streets that we're gonna actually do.
Right.
And bring it down to our budget.
And bring it down, it also has to play, we'll pick a budget, you know, we gotta stay within our budget number. So, we'll have to do some work on those to figure out which one's the best.
All right.
Okay, one other thing, we did a lot of, little work in the park, and we have our playground is installed, and I think it's fantastic. These guys really did a nice job. They were in and out, what, 2 days?
A day and a half.
A day and a half. And we've got a pretty darn slick little playground there right now. So, we were, you know, their commitment was July 1st, and they actually made it from, you know, mid-June.
I've gotten a lot of compliments on,
Yeah.
on the playground.
Not mid-June, mid-May, what am I talking about? Yeah, mid-May, and yeah, I have some playground testers that work for me, and they love it. So,
Yeah, well, my wife took my grandson and, well, actually his, Tim's granddaughter lives across from us. And a couple of those spinning things, they're pretty intense. She was like, spinning, couldn't use it. My wife had to go stop her. And she was, yeah, good stuff. While we're on this, I'm gonna hitch a ride here.
okay.
One of the things that I've had requests on is child swings, as in infant toddler type.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Nancy get the information for me and talk to them. We've got a couple of options. One is a standalone T-bar, which would have 2 early childhood swings on it. Standalone. But price on that was $1,279. And it would take to expand the park again.
Yeah.
Now, we looked at one other option, is we have the 6 swings here currently, and there's, the way it's set up is you have 2 swings per section of it. They said we can put, on one of the sections, replace the standard swings with infant, or the early childhood swings, which then give us 4 regular swings, 2 child. And we got prices on those, they're $80 each, so it'd be $160 plus shipping and handling. I think it'd be a great addition. If I put a requisition in there, but I'd like to make a motion to purchase the 2 childhood swings to get
Yeah,
down
I
there.
think that's a good idea.
And like I said, we'll still have the other swings,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
find out,
we'll
we
put
can
them
always
over
put them
there,
back
yeah.
up, but, yeah, there are a lot of young children here, and
The problem if you go with that T thing is you're gonna have big kids swinging on this thing that.
right, and plus, like I said, it's much more expensive, you'd have to, and again, we'd have to, there's not a specific place for it, so I think the swings
Think
are.
about that, Em. Not
So-
a problem.
Okay.
Second.
Did you second?
Yeah,
John
yes.
and Mike?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. You can go back to where you were at, I just kinda wanted to hitch that.
Yeah, well, the other thing, I think I think they're also, Nancy, doing a good job with grass. And, I think Emmerich will concur. And, it looks really good. We don't have a lot of rain, but, it looks really good, really good. And, you know, we backed a semi in there over that, and you didn't even tell. It was semi-loaded with the mulch, you can't even tell. So, very happy with that, very happy with that. And, so,
Do you wanna go over the recommendations from the,
that was next
Okay.
on my list here. We have the recommendations from the engineer for our road projects, and, you know, we could probably just zip through those. The first project that I guess I'd like to do is, it's called asphalt resurfacing of Taylor May Road, section C and D, Auburn Township, Jog County. And this is a letter from Joe Cattell, and this office has reviewed the bids submitted on the above referenced project. The lowest and best bid for the project was submitted by Chagrin Valley Paving from Auburn Township for the amount of $217,347. And there, as it goes on, they have all of their papers in order. And we have experienced working with them last year. And Emmerich, I know, we discussed this, he has no issues.
Plus, they were awarded 3 years ago with Marydale and Stafford Road 3.
Right, so we have some experience. We had them do a parking lot, we had them do about 1.5 miles of resurface. And so my recommendation is gonna be that we go ahead and enter into a contract with them for this project.
okay, I'll second.
John,
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Okay. We do have another project here, and this is the chip seal of various roads. And once again, this is a letter from Joe Cattell. This office has reviewed the bids submitted for the above referenced project. The lowest and best bid for this project was submitted
by Asphalt Fabrics and Specialties from Seoul, Ohio, in the amount of $214,400. We have, once again, a fair history of working with these people on contracts. And Emric, do you have anything you want to chime in with?
These guys, along with PS Construction, you notice that they did bid on our crack seal. They've been doing work in the township for years. As far as our crack seal, as a matter of fact, they crack sealed all the fire department last year. Concrete, asphalt came out great. As far as the chipping, we did have a discussion. There are roads in Chester that they did last year that were successful, that the engineers said we can visit as well, and check out the performance of that road there. And based upon the experience with these guys, they are a fast act. We've had nothing but top quality work from this guy, so I'm comfortable.
I'm very comfortable with them too. So with that, I'm gonna make a motion that we enter into a contract for the chip seal of various roads with Asphalt Fabric and Specialties.
I'll second that.
John
Yes.
and Mike.
Yes.
Yes. You don't get to vote yes. I get to vote at least one time.
Yes, go ahead, do whatever makes you happy.
See what he does to me?
I know. And you're the chairman, you know?
I called him sir when I talked to him earlier.
That's true.
Okay, so that's,
As he should.
we have Asphalt Fabrics, and we should have,
One more,
yeah, where is it?
no.
Here it is. Okay, the other project that we have is resurfacing of various roads. And Emric, you could illuminate those names of those roads better than I.
Yeah.
What we did is we put a, kind of working on the corner of the township here. And,
This would be Cumberland Trail and Furwood in the Luckyville subdivision, as well as Riverwood. Riverwood itself, I believe, is 22 years old.
22 years
This time
old.
it's starting to pop and crack. The other portion of this project is Auburn Springs, which was put in 1997, and there's significant road base failure in this section of road. And what we're going to do this year is we're going to do full depth repair, which is going to be handled by Sugar Valley Paving. And we'll do drainage updates. We'll see how the full depth repair weathered over a season, and then we will resurface next year. And this was all discussed.
unless we have failures.
Right, unless, yeah, correct. And this was discussed with the engineers as well. It's going to be a two-step process with the. with
Essentially,
all the
we're
streets.
gonna rebuild this entire road from start to finish. And, so, it's a lot to bite off to try to do all of that work in one season. And we kind of feel like we need to follow the same path that we took with Ascot, where we went in, did this full depth repair, proved that it was all successful, and then we'll go and slap a surface on it.
Correct.
And that seems to be, in my view, the most prudent way, in Emric's view, the most prudent way to attack a big project. I mean, this road it was a mess a day after it was built, because it was probably built 6 to 8 inches
And it
too low.
Yeah, and it abuts the swamp and has a lot of runoff as well.
Right, there are a lot of water issues over there, so we also are also gonna address some culverts down in the cul-de-sac of this place. And Emric and I both spent several hours in the heaviest rain standing out there watching the water and arguing a little, debating. And we've come to a conclusion of a solution to this problem. But I think for the residents there, this is gonna solve the problem. I'm pretty about 99%. You never say 100 in this business, but we're pretty sure we got the answer to solve this water problem. We actually have water that runs backwards at the end of this place. And I know water doesn't run uphill, but it does here. And so that's a big project right there. The other roads are
you know, I think we'll catch them, they'll go right back into, number 7, and we'll all live a happy day. So, once again, this is a letter from Joe Cattell. This office has reviewed the bid submitted on the above referenced project. Lowest and best bid for this project was submitted by Chagrin Valley Paving from Auburn Township for the amount of $266,925. And I make a motion that we enter into a contract with them on that project.
I'll second that.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
okay.
The only other thing that we want to just bring to your attention is a little bit of paving that we're going to try to do here this year. Is, two things. We're going to start our improvements over at Adam Hall. We're having a project meeting with all the vendors. Dick Dixon will be having that on Wednesday with them. He's already got a work schedule created, and we do have the drawings back approved from the county. And so we're ready to proceed. And we're very happy. We only had one little suggestion came back, put an access hole up into the attic. Not a bad idea. I think we kind of just escaped that in our plans. But so part of that project is not included in the initial price, but we would try to like to move it into there as a second access. The second access was proven very necessary on Saturday. When you have a little conflab taking place where there's cars that are coming from the east, cars coming from the west at a very high rate of speed, and somebody's trying to turn out of Adam Hall and go west. And there may be a car, queued up, there may not, but we almost had everybody, the guy he's trying to get out of Adam Hall, and pretty soon he goes, well, this guy's slowing down, I'm going to pull out in front of him. And then we had a little conflab with everybody honking their horns and everything, but this occurs more than you can imagine. And where we want to just put in another driveway dedicated out that would be further east, and it would the speed of the cars going to the east is much higher than the speeds of the cars going west. And we're working with the engineer's office on this and citing where to place that. And now you could still have cars queued up and pull out of Adam Hall. Election is probably another time when this becomes a bit of a problem, and that's going to continue as more and more people move into Auburn. So I think it's something we need to take care of. And so right now, it's not a huge project, but if we can move it into the renovation project, we will. If we, how these numbers all come up, we're still arguing with the vendors on numbers. If it doesn't, we'll just go ahead and in maybe 2 days we'll handle it ourselves. But that's where we are with that thing. The floor is down. The floor is gorgeous. And I asked them to go ahead and reserve the tile required to do the hallway behind the kitchen. It's a mess from people dragging tables back and forth, of which we're going to eliminate this whole situation. You're looking at about $1,700 for the tile and a few bucks to put it down. So one of the things I asked Jim to do is let's cue that up to the top of the line, so to speak, so we can just have all this floor issue done and it'll look really nice.
I went in there on Saturday,
the joint lines, you could shoot a laser down them.
it just
The guy
makes
did a
the
nice
whole,
job.
just the whole visual impact.
Right.
And,
Another thing that I thought, and I don't know what you think, but it's time to paint the interior too. So we're gonna have painters at the site. I asked Jim, give us a price to paint the main hall.
yeah, they're tooled up.
Give us a price to add that into the project. There's no, you're saving the setup and take down, bringing the maintenance in and everything. So we'll talk about that when we meet Wednesday. So that's sort of where we are on that project. We're moving right ahead. Jim's doing a great job of, railroading that thing through. The water, of course, has been fixed, and we've demonstrated that it, how many events have we had in there, Nancy? Probably 5?
I was gonna say 4 or 5.
4 or
yeah.
5, and we have water that doesn't smell and all that sort of stuff, so we've solved that problem. That was like $100. I'm very happy with that. I think that's about everything on the Adam Hall list.
Good.
So,
Thank you, Jen. Okay. Fred has a resolution here. It's Resolution 2017-18 for an interfund transfer. Just read it. Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio met in regular session on the 5th day of June 2017. Present were Michael S. Troyan and John A. Eberly. Be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, that to correct an error, the interfund transfer and the appropriation made pursuant to Resolution 2017-16 are hereby voided, and the following interfund transfer and appropriation shall be made. $97,820.05 from the general fund to the land acquisition and improvement fund. Said amount representing $21,272.36 in cable and TV and franchise fees, and $76,547.69 in estate tax settlements. Fiscal officer shall make a supplemental appropriation of $76,547.69 in the general fund account 1,910,910. Transfers out to effect the interfund transfer. And that's a motion.
second.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to give that to Fred.
this is the one we have to sign. That's the official one. Oh,
Fred will have to sign.
nobody has to sign it, just
No,
Fred?
no, this is,
Okay.
we just vote, and
Yeah.
Fred has to sign it. Okay. Got that.
We should probably thank Fred Dietz, who came in and worked, just hit my mind here, he came in and worked for many hours for us that day, and he's a longtime Auburn resident, and he came up and, I don't know, Emmer, he probably put 4 hours in.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to just make so note in the minutes that acknowledge his contribution. Sorry, I didn't think of that earlier, but it's
No,
not.
but I didn't get his name.
Fred Dietz.
Fred Dietz,
Dietz.
and then Desmond Harold as well. He comes
And
in-
Desmond
Yeah,
Harold.
he comes
Also,
every,
yeah.
every year and
Desmond
volunteers hours as
volunteers
well.
every year, and is there before it starts, and
Do they help on Friday too? I mean,
No,
they're-
No.
they're not involved in the Department on Aging's part, just
Yeah.
we certainly appreciate their help.
Yeah. Gosh, Desmond's been coming for
10
Forever.
years.
10 years, yeah, easy, yeah.
Okay, all right, a couple more items here. We've got some franchise fees received. Time Warner, now Charter, $4,085.07. I make a motion to transfer that to the Land Acquisition and Improvement Fund.
Second.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes. And then Sudlink, we have franchise fees of $2,880.99. And once again, I'd like to add those to the Land Acquisition Improvement Fund.
Second,
John
yes.
and Mike,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, Auburn Bainbridge fireworks meeting with Tab Gordon of Bainbridge at Kenston High School, Wednesday, June 2nd. June 2nd?
What I did.
June 2nd.
I think we already had one.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's
Is it a
coming
different-
June.
Huh?
It's a different June 2nd.
It's a different June 2nd, not the first one we had?
Yeah, it's the second June 2nd.
The
It's
second
like the
June.
13th. Where,
Would be the 7th,
are you sure?
isn't it?
Well, it's a Wednesday, you say it's a Wednesday,
It's
so,
the 7th.
okay, so the 7th, at 10 a.m. Nancy and Mark Sturm are going, not Nancy Sturm, Nancy this one and Mark Sturm. Emmerich out that day. Okay, so I just want to let you know you're out that day, so.
But there's a Gordon there anyways.
That was a personal note for you.
Oh, is that?
That was just a little personal note for you.
Okay, and now, this Wednesday, June 7th at 6 p.m., there's a meeting at Bainbridge Town Hall regarding the post office. So make sure everybody's aware, and we will be there, and,
What do we have to do here about that?
huh?
What do we have to do here about that?
What do we have
Do we
to?
have to put a notice out?
It's on the
It's
website.
on the website, okay.
And
We'll
there's
have to-
flyers.
Open and close a meeting like that.
Well, Bainbridge is hosting the meeting.
It doesn't matter, we're gonna.
So we'll do what they did here.
Yeah.
We'll post our own notice of,
Mike, if I may interject, 2 weeks ago, everyone was home at my house, and the postal driver, my wife was sitting at the table working, and drove by. My wife noticed the sticker on our mailbox. The sticker said, "Sorry I missed you, we have a certified letter." Well, this is good. No, they're upping their game. She called me, because this is the second time we had a certified letter where someone was home, it was evident, and the delivery person didn't stop. I immediately called Chagrin. The gentleman that I spoke with said, "Tell me your address, tell me where, when, you'll get it now." I told him, within 20 minutes, the driver came back and delivered it personally to the house. So they're upping their game. So that
But
was.
the sad part about that is no one attempted to deliver that
Right,
piece
right.
of mail
And the first
in the
time.
first place.
But initially, the last time it happened, I made a call and I didn't get it.
Yeah,
And we
well,
went to the post office and they couldn't find it for 3 days.
these are incremental improvements.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
so I mean, I was happy that that happened. So-
Yeah, yeah.
So we're making some progress. And in case anyone hasn't noticed, the new sign is up at the fire department.
Mhm.
We can thank Chief Phillips.
Yeah.
He did a lot of work, a lot of research on that. We had multiple meetings. They brought in many different samples to look at.
And some of those lost knuckleheads that showed up Saturday only showed up because they saw it on the
Right.
sign. They would tell me that. When do we have large item cleanup day? You know, we should have it at the same time every year, the way one guy told me. He was an old-time resident too, by the way. And I said, yeah, it's odd, but we already thought of that.
Yeah, we'll take that under advisement. Next year we'll have it on the first
Well, why don't
Saturday in
next year we'll
June.
do it the first Saturday of June.
Okay. And we also have the Geauga Township Association Quarterly Dinner Meeting.
Who's going to that?
That will be on July 12th. So,
Where is it? Where is it?
oh, at Patterson Fruit Farms, Chester's hosting. So anyway, we need to have our reservations in by July 7th, so make sure to let Nancy or Fred know. Okay. Public comment? Okay. Again, save the date. Where's Bildad Bradley? Okay, now, we've had some issues. I'm glad you're here.
Yes.
Okay? Because we had a little confusion up front. And John's watching me like a hawk. Because when I pull the thing out of the tub, it doesn't say where they spotted the person. Now, as far as I know, people talk to you, and that's how they get into the thing. So you're the one, you know that.
I'm watching.
So
that,
they know. Okay.
They either email me, they text me. Some have texted me pictures of them. They email me, and yeah, they tell me exactly where he's at. And
So you've already done that, so it's
I
just
have.
their name in there?
Yes.
Okay.
And the other thing is too, we're letting them enter as many times as Bildad moves, they're allowed to enter. So if they saw them in one place, but then they're entered and they didn't win, their name stays in there. So at least their chances double if they find them the second time. But I have to tell you where he's at now, I must have had 12 hits on him already. Like, within the hour that they put him up, I got 3 hits on him. So it's in a real popular spot, and people are really noticing him. It's really kind of fun.
Now start
And I
putting
heard that
someplace with a little water.
Newberry was very jealous of our Bildad Bradley. I know.
Well, did you tell them that
Newberry's doing a.
Matt's for hire? I mean, if
Maybe
they have
we
their
could
own,
make
if
some
they have their
money.
own person, they would
Matt
like
is
to.
starting to talk like Bildad Bradley.
Yeah, good.
On a regular basis.
Okay. Auburn Volunteer Fire Department Picnic and Parade, Tuesday, July 4th, 12 noon from the Meadow Subdivision to the fire station. The hot dogs and sausages and dinners there for anyone who's interested. Also, we have the Sunday, July 2nd, we'll have the Auburn Bainbridge fireworks and festivities. What's the exact starting time? Can you confirm that?
I cannot, I will on Wednesday. But I was wondering, I thought these normally started at around 2, but I haven't seen anything go out.
You're gonna have to confirm, babe, I mean, because we always had just the fireworks portion of it, and that all started like 6 o'clock.
They
It
always,
started later, but they've got some other festivities.
that's what I'm saying.
So that may still be up in the air depending on what else they're planning on doing.
Okay.
So if you can contact them,
I'd be
confirm, I would
happy to.
appreciate it.
I know that there's a 3 o'clock softball game between the Babes of Solon and the Bainbridge Service Garage.
Okay, so we're narrowing in now, so
Yeah, I will check on that for you.
as early as 3 o'clock.
I'll put it on the website.
Okay. Then we have the bicentennial celebration at Auburn Community Park on Saturday, September 23rd.
I have no idea.
Let's confirm the time on that also.
Something's gonna be there.
Something's gonna be
I'm
there.
not sure what it is.
It's a work in progress. That's
I know.
September. And the Township History Tour, October 15th, starting at Adam Hall Community Center. Also at some
Also
time.
at a time, yeah.
Okay. And we got the CVCC Outdoor Concert and Auburn Birthday Cake and Ice Cream Social. Tuesday, July 25th at Adam Hall Community Center. At some time.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. Okay. Alrighty. Questions, answers? Okay. Carl, complain about asphalt? All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Richard.
Okay, there you go.
This? Did you sign everything, John? Yeah, I think so. I can do.
This all-
My hand's not fall off.